Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna, and for those of you who are new here, welcome. And for those of you who are returning, welcome back. In today's video, I'm just going to be doing a quick pen test, sort of how Crayola Supertips work on various paper, and if that is of interest to you, please stay tuned. Okay, so when I did my recent stationery haul video, I did feature these right here. These are the 100 colors of the Supertips I picked up from Amazon. I'll go ahead and link that below. And in one of the comments, and I forgot to write down who it was, but had asked how it works on paper. So I thought I would do some testing. That's why I've got these things right here. So these are the pens in question. I don't have a great setup for filming, so I'll just have to try to be mindful of the space. And this is the Minimalism Art bullet journal that I had picked up, again, featured in that stationery haul. This is, I believe, 100 GSM paper, so it's a little thicker than your standard paper. I am going to turn this into a junk drawer journal, and I was inspired by Creative Minds Coffee Grinds, but this is all that I've done so far. But I have done a pen test all the way in the back here, and this is actually all 100 colors. So this paper is a bit cream toned. It isn't a pure white. So one of my tips is, if you do get any kind of marker, any kind of color pencil, any kind of anything, and you are using multiple journals or planners or whatever, you might actually have to swatch it in all of those things if the paper is not the same color. Because I know for some people that I watch here on YouTube, they only swatch in the one because they only use the one journal. But if you're going between things, this may not give you the same color payoff as if it were on something more yellow, like the Exceed notebook, or more white, like some of the things I'm going to be showing you. So that's just something to know. And then the bleed through on this is actually not too bad. There is some ghosting, so you certainly can see some of the colors, if not all of them, but there is no bleed through. So for me, that works perfectly well. I actually don't mind the look of ghosting. Again, this is 100 GSM, I believe, and so that gives you an idea of what that looks like. For this here, let me see if I can move this. I did do it on 3 different kind of Happy Planner paper that I have. This is a lined Happy Planner paper. This is from a Skinny Classic Notes. This is a dot grid, and this is from an actual planner sheet. Now, of all of them, this feels the most lightweight. Then the next one is this one with the lined, and then the dot grid actually feels the thickest of all 3 of these. I found, and I've heard, that sometimes the planner pages are quite a bit thinner than their actual Happy Notes pages. So keep that in mind. Again, for all of these, they do have more of a white cast. This is just some copier paper, and so I just wanted to see if there was a difference. There actually seems to be more of a whiteness with this one than this one, but it's still definitely more white than that bullet journal. And so I didn't swap all 100 colors, because if you've ever pen tested, yeah, that was no fun. Plus, I want to keep it in here. So that's what it looks like on the page, the colors. Actually, these 2 are the same pen, but they look a little different to me. Yeah, because you can see that there is a difference between the page colors. Even though it's white, this pulls off a little bit more gray than this one does. So yeah, you'll definitely want to swatch if you're using multiple pens in multiple different planners, unless it's the same brand, and then you should be fine. Well, no, because this is all Happy Planner, so forget I just said that. Anyway, this is the back of each of them. And as you can see, I don't even see any ghosting. There's certainly no bleed through. So if you were going to use these instead of like Tombows, I think that would be a great thing. Although what I didn't do is do a double line. So this is all just one single. So let's see what happens if you do multiple. So that does have some ghosting. There's just a tinge of bleed through right there, but otherwise, that's actually not that bad. Okay. And I thought that I would name these or put numbers on these. And then I was watching a few videos of people who have, and I just realized, yeah, I don't want to do that. So my plan is when I use this in whatever planner system or journal system that I'm going to use it in, I will choose the colors, I will swatch them, and then I will keep them for that month, and then I'll put them back versus trying to have to find it, because the color of the tip is not indicative always of the actual color of the pen. There is nothing on here that says a name. I think there's a place you can find on Crayola. There's 100 of these. There's no way I'm going to be doing that. So I'm just going to be going by instinct, some swatches, and then going from there. And then the last one I want to show you is in my Stalogy. Again, it's not the full 100 colors, but I did want to pick out some colors from every single row. They do look really good. Again, this is more of a creamy color than a pure white, as you can see here. I don't know if it picks it up on the camera, but I certainly can see it. And then on the back side, there certainly is ghosting. There is actually a little bit of bleed through where the pen ends, and it sits on the page for a fraction a bit longer than when you're just moving it. But even this, I think, would work really well. Some of these colors are really nice, and I'm not going to do it because that would just drive me insane. But if you watch Cindy's channel, I believe she recently did a Crayola Supertips against some mild liners and possibly even against some Tombows. I know I watched it recently. I'll link that video below, because some of these are some pretty good dupes for these mild liners. Like, that's not too bad. So if you're looking at something that's a little bit more affordable, then you could certainly look at the Supertips. And the lettering here is actually done with a Supertip. So the way that I'll end this video is I'll just get a sheet of paper. Now with these, it does come with two tips, the chisel tip and that there. With the Tombow, you get the dual brush, which is the brush pen there, and then this is more of a fine liner at the bottom. With the Supertips, you only get the one tip. However, because of the way that it's shaped, you can actually practice lettering with this, and this entire box I think was $15. A pack of mild liners can run you for 5 pens, I think like $8 or $10, and a pack of Tombows, which comes in 12, can run you between $12 and $20. So if you're either wanting a ton of colors, or you're new to lettering, or you just prefer this because this is way more manageable, plus it comes in its cute little storage box, then this could give you some of the same thicks and thins that you would get from a brush pen. Now this definitely would take some getting used to, and I'm heavy-handed, so already you can see I'm bending the nib, which is fine. And that's a beautiful green, by the way. But depending on how you are holding your pen, you can get your thin upstrokes and then press down and get your thick downstrokes. Where you might lose some of it is not a pristine line. But again, that could be more because I'm heavy-handed. You can get thin going down, again, based on pressure. If you're just using the point, you can get thick going down. You can also get thick going up, again, depending on the pressure because of the way that this is made. But I really just, I love the color payoff of these. And it just becomes an exercise of being mindful of your pressure. Because you could always go back and thicken it up if you wanted even more so. And you didn't want to have to worry about your pressure, and you also didn't want to kind of bend up your tip. I hope you guys find this video useful. I thought it'd be not so much to swatch it on camera because, I mean, you know how a color writes. It was more so, how does it ghost on various different papers if you were thinking about this? Now, let's see. Okay, so on regular copier paper, it definitely ghosts and it definitely bleeds through. So that's just something you should know. And then if you have thicker paper, either 120 or 160 GSM paper, then this will definitely work a treat, because on the 100 GSM paper that I showed you, that very first bullet journal, it was pretty decent. So the thicker the paper, the better the ghostability or the lack of. And then again, a quick tip is if you are using multiple planners, you may want to do a swatch page at the back of it, just because your paper tones may be different, so your color tones may be different. Again, that's the same color, and this one pulls definitely more of a pink highlighter than this one does because of the color of the paper. So having just one swatch page in one book, unless that's the kind of book you have for everything, it may not be that helpful, especially if you're trying to either color or do sort of a themed item for the month. All right, guys, well, that's it for me for now. And as always, aloha.